It took the US 2 hours and 28 minutes to snatch President Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, in the small hours of Saturday morning. An extraordinary display of imperial power that plunges 30 million Venezuelans into a profound uncertainty. But it was also months in the planning. Critical to Operation Absolute Resolve was the work of the CIA and other US intelligence agencies. From as early as August, their goal was to establish Maduro's pattern of life, to understand how he moved, where he lived, where he traveled, what he ate, what he wore, what were his pets. Nicolás Maduro had regularly changed his sleeping location. As the US built up its military presence in the Caribbean from September, Maduro had tightened his personal security. Gone were the well-trailed public speeches. He relied more heavily on Cuban counterintelligence and bodyguards. On Friday evening, Maduro's location was fixed at a compound on Fuerte Tiuna. The Cuban president stands among a crowd of people holding Cuban and Venezuelan flags. Spy drones were part of how the CIA monitored Maduro. The agency also surprisingly briefed it had a human source inside the Venezuelan government. As many as a quarter of all US Navy warships had been in the Caribbean since November, bolstered by the arrival of the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford. The aim of the US military was to achieve tactical surprise and air dominance. The final go order was given by the US President Donald Trump. The first step was to clear an air corridor by smashing Venezuela's aviation and air defenses for the helicopters that would carry the elite Delta Force troops. Composite of Donald Trump, right? And Nicolás Maduro looking grim. Venezuela had a reasonably capable military by regional standards, used its oil wealth to buy Russian Su-30 jets plus S-300 and Buk systems. But when it came to the moment of truth, the Russian kit was easily defeated. Air bases and communication centers were bombed, probably by Tomahawk cruise missiles and AGM-88 HARM. Reports of F-35 fighter jets bombing Venezuelan fighters on the tarmac. In total, more than 150 US aircraft were involved in the night raid. Trump also boasted that power in Caracas had been largely turned off. Satellite imagery showed a power station bombed at Fuerte Tiuna. After taking off, the Delta Force team flew at 100 feet above the water to evade radar detection. Caracas is not far from the coast, about 10 miles away, though in between are mountains. Helped the incoming helicopters hiding in the clutter until they reached the capital city itself. One video filmed from Caracas showed 9 helicopters, modified Blackhawks and double-rotor Chinooks. None were hit or damaged by Venezuelan air defense. As they approached Maduro's compound at 2:00 a.m., they came under gunfire. A single helicopter was damaged, though still flyable. Again, the US military had heavily prepared for what would be the critical moments. A replica of Maduro's compound had been built in the US. The Delta Force team had a blowtorch to get through the steel doors, and a hostage negotiator from the FBI. It went almost as planned. Gun battles broke out as the Delta Force team was on the ground. A large part of Maduro's security team was killed. Venezuelan officials said at least 40 people had died. No US soldiers were killed, though a handful were wounded. The president, in his last moments in power, had tried to run to a safe room. Maduro was quickly captured. All that was necessary was to take Maduro and Flores out of the country, before initially depositing them on the USS Iwo Jima assault ship. On its own terms, as a military operation, it was undoubtedly a success. But it is far from clear it will allow the US to take control of the country.